Hey, Mike. What? Who's got next?
What's good, y'all? It's your man Hezo, and welcome back to the Blacktop, where I always got next, you feel me? So y'all know what time it is, man. We are on to the top 10 small forwards going into next season. If y'all have not had a chance yet, go check out my point guard list and my shooting guard list, my last couple videos. Definitely want to check those out before you watch this one. Be sure to subscribe to the channel if you're new. Leave a like on the video. It helps me out a ton. And let's get right into it. So I think the small forward position is the deepest position in basketball in terms of all-star caliber players and superstar players. So starting off at number 10, we got the recent NBA champion, Andrew Wiggins. Now, Andrew Wiggins is a dude who a lot of people were starting to call a bust. Makes an all-star team this year, which was very, very debatable. Definitely shouldn't have been an all-star starter, but it is what it is. He did it. I mean, I couldn't be happier for Andrew Wiggins. He balled out this season, had arguably the best season of his career, and now he is an NBA champion in a series which he was the second best player on the Warriors, and it's really not debatable. So he has gone from a potential bust to now being the second best player on a championship team this year. I couldn't be happier for Andrew Wiggins, man. He's a two-way player. He can score. He had Jayson Tatum in a box that entire finals. He's just an elite defender, a pretty damn good scorer, and what more can you say about the dude? And he's still relatively young. He's only like 26, 27 years old. He still has more room to grow. I don't know if he'll continue to be an all-star. It's going to be kind of hard. Again, this is the deepest position in basketball, so it's going to be kind of hard to tell. But I got Andrew Wiggins at number 10 going into next season. So at number 9, I have Brandon Ingram. And this dude is just a walking bucket. What more can you say about this dude? He is so similar to Kevin Durant in the way he plays. No, he's not on Kevin Durant's level of greatness, but he's similar in terms of style of play. He's long, he can shoot pretty much over anybody. He's like 6'9", 6'10". He plays a little bit of defense, he's clutch. Brandon Ingram, in my eyes, is the best player on the Pelicans. A lot of people would argue Zion, but Brandon Ingram shows up, man. He's on the court. Zion's been banged up. I know Brandon Ingram has had his fair share of injuries, but not like Zion. And I think really since he's left the Lakers, he's really emerged. He's became an all-star. And in my eyes, he was he kind of was looking like a bust early on in his career with the Lakers. But he's turned it around. He's an all-star player now. Definitely a top 10 small forward. Coming in at number 9 going into next season. Now coming in at number 8, another NBA champion, Khris Middleton. And Khris Middleton really proved that he could be the second best player on a championship roster, which I have doubted the last several years up until they won a title, obviously. In that championship run, he was so clutch throughout the entire playoffs, especially against Brooklyn in that Game 7. He has just really emerged. I think he was like a second-round pick. He's pretty much the prototypical wing that you want on your team, especially if you're a contender. He defends, he can score, he's clutch, he shows up when it matters. Now, with that being said, there was a lot of moments where Khris Middleton looks like a C-level player, and then other times he looks like Michael Jordan. A lot of times you never know what you're going to get out of Khris Middleton. He is a little bit inconsistent. That's why I don't have him any higher. I think he still has the potential to get a little bit higher. But as of right now, I have Middleton at number 8 going into next season. Now, at number 7, this is a player who has consistently had always great regular seasons and choked in the playoffs. And by that, y'all should know who I'm talking about, and that is DeMar DeRozan. DeRozan is just that one dude who, he looks great every single regular season, but then as soon as it gets to the playoffs, it's like he forgets how to play basketball. He's on the back of a milk carton. One of the best mid-range shooters in the NBA, probably the best, but he just doesn't know how to win. Early on in his career when he was in Toronto, he ran into LeBron. Last year, they ran into Milwaukee, and even without Khris Middleton in that series, he didn't show up, man. And it's so frustrating watching DeMar DeRozan in the playoffs because it's like you kind of expect it at this point. And I know Bulls fans hate to see it because this year I legitimately thought it was going to be different. And one of my homeboys who's a big DeMar DeRozan fan, I was texting him, I'm like, why are you surprised? Well, this is who DeMar DeRozan is. He's a choker in the playoffs. But he's still an excellent small forward in the NBA. He's still top 10. Maybe someday he'll get over that hump in terms of maybe not even winning a championship, but at least playing well in the playoffs. He's too inconsistent. His numbers drop drastically. His shooting percentage drops drastically. DeMar DeRozan's just not a playoff performer, but he's still a top 10 small forward. Coming in at number 7, going into next season. Now, at number 6, this is a player who you could argue his position. He starts at the 2. I have him as a small forward because he's played small forward pretty much his entire career, and that is PG Paul George. I love Paul George. He's one of my favorite players in the NBA. One of the best two-way players in the league. The Clippers have been kind of a disappointment, obviously because of injuries and all that, but they folded in the bubble, blew that 3-1 lead. He's been kind of in and out of the lineup. He's been banged up. So is Kawhi. We'll talk about that a little bit later in the video. But Paul George is still one of the best two-way players in the league. He's still one of the best two-way small forwards in the league. And he can score, he defends, he rebounds, he can play make. He really is the entire package in terms of a wing. He's one of the best wings probably I've ever watched in my lifetime. I know it's crazy as that is to say, but I ain't that old, man. I'm a little bit older, but I ain't that old. So I love PG. Coming in at number 6, going into next season. So moving on to the top 5, man. And number 5 is a player that just came off an NBA Finals run, but he had one of the most disappointing Finals performances I've ever watched in my lifetime for a star player, and that's Jayson Tatum. I don't even know where to start with him. He's so good, but at the same time, the NBA Finals performance that he had was just so bad. He was outplayed by Andrew Wiggins. He was outplayed by Jaylen Brown. In a lot of games, he was even outplayed by Al Horford. And this is a dude who had his moments in the playoffs. He came up big against Milwaukee in Game 6. He had, 46? He came up big against Miami. He just folded on the biggest stage, and that's unacceptable. That is unacceptable as a star player, but he's still so young. He's still one of the top 2 to 3 players under the age of 25. He has so much room to grow. He's really improved his defense to become more of a two-way player in the NBA. He's clutch. He hits big shots. Didn't obviously do that in the finals, but we obviously know what Jayson Tatum is. He's going to be a star player. He's going to be a superstar player going forward. He's arguably a top 10 player still in the NBA. I got Jayson Tatum at number 5 going into next season. Could have been higher if he would have came off the championship, but as of right now, he's number 5. So at number 4, this is a player who just elevates his game consistently in the playoffs. I was talking about how DeMar DeRozan kind of just goes downhill in the playoffs. This dude does the exact opposite, and that's Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler goes from an all-star player in the regular season to a superstar level player in the playoffs. It's like if you had to rank him based off of like a 2K rating, he'd be like a 90 overall in the regular season, and then goes from like a 96, 97 overall in the playoffs. Now, I was a person that criticized his last shot in Game 7 against Boston. I thought he could have got a better look. Obviously, he probably would have ran out of gas in overtime, but when you look at it, he did everything he could to get the Heat to the championship. He fell short, but that is not a knock against him. He is an excellent player. He's one of the best two-way players in the NBA, one of the best defensive players in the NBA. He gets in the passing lanes. He's clutch. He draws fouls. Jimmy Butler really is the whole package, and he's been the whole package ever since he left Chicago. He knows how to win. I really would like to see Jimmy Butler win a championship. He definitely deserves it. I think maybe at some point he will, but Miami's still one scorer away to help him out in the playoffs to be able to get him over the hump. Jimmy Butler is just a dog, man. He is an absolute dog. I got him at number 4 going into next season. So we are on to the top 3. And at number 3, this is probably the most controversial one, maybe that I've done out of all 3 of these videos that I've recorded. Now, a lot of y'all are probably going to disagree with this, but this is all my opinion, so y'all just keep that in mind. At number 3, I got Kevin Durant. And hear me out on this before y'all attack me in the comments and say I don't know ball or that's way too low for Kevin Durant. Hear me out. This is a dude who joined a 73-win overall team to get championships. He runs from the grind. I cannot respect KD in the way that he won his championships. In my opinion, his championships don't hold any weight. He hasn't won anything without Curry. This is a dude that wanted to go to Brooklyn. He wanted to team up with Kyrie. He wanted to be the guy and all that. And they got swept by Boston, and now he wants out. He's running from the grind, man. This is the definition of if you can't beat him, join him. Because now he's in trade rumors with the Celtics. And you don't think that he would sign off on a Celtics trade to be teamed up with Jayson Tatum if the Nets somehow agreed to the deal? He definitely would, man. That's who KD is. He runs from the grind. He's a great player, man. I'm not denying that. He's one of the greatest small forwards we ever played. He's one of the best, most gifted, offensively skilled players we've ever seen play the game. It's just he runs from the grind, and I can't respect how he won championships. As opposed to the other 2 dudes that I have ahead of him, did it the right way, even though number 1 is debatable. Y'all can say what you want about that. But that's the reason why I have Kevin Durant at number 3 going into next season. Now at number 2, I didn't want to get into too much of a rant on why I have KD at number 3, but at number 2 I have Kawhi Leonard.
I'm a fun guy.
Obviously, I love the game of basketball.
A lot of people may disagree with that. I have always viewed Kawhi Leonard as a better player than Kevin Durant. He's won 2 championships with 2 different teams now. And a lot of people say, well, oh, his Raptors championship has an asterisk. How does his championship with the Raptors have any more of an asterisk than Kevin Durant's does with the Warriors? I mean, at least Kawhi Leonard did it with a team who was not a finals contending team when he got there. And he was traded there. He didn't sign there willingly. It is what it is, man. I don't have too much to say. Kawhi Leonard is one of the most elite defensive players we've ever seen. He's a defensive player of the year. He can guard any position. We've seen how he guards LeBron whenever he matches up with him in the NBA Finals. He's a 2-time Finals MVP. He won Toronto their first championship. He won Finals MVP with the Spurs towards the end of their dynasty. I love Kawhi Leonard, man. I can't wait to see what he does this season. Coming off his injury, I think he really is going to come back strong. He's one of the most humble dudes that we have in the NBA. And again, this is a dude who, in my eyes, I've always had him over Kevin Durant. And y'all can say what you want, but you never know what could have happened in 2019 if Kevin Durant stays healthy. But it is what it is, man. Y'all can say it's all a bunch of what ifs. At the end of the day, he has 2 Finals MVPs. KD has 2 Finals MVPs. The difference is Kawhi didn't have to join a 73-win team to do it. So in my eyes, his championships hold more weight than Durant's. It is what it is. I'm going to leave it at that. So at number 1 is pretty obvious, right? As you see the jersey that I'm wearing, it's LeBron. And it's been LeBron for the past decade. And it's going to be LeBron probably for the next 2 to 3 seasons. As long as he's in the NBA, he's going to be the best small forward in the NBA. He's a top 3 player of all time. I don't need to go into his accolades and his accomplishments. We all know what LeBron is, man. It's same thing as when I was doing the point guard list with Curry being number 1. It's so freaking obvious. We know Curry's the number 1 overall point guard. We know LeBron's the number one overall small forward. I don't care if he missed the playoffs. He's still dominant. He's still averaged 30 or almost 30 at age 37, 38. He's still one of the best players in the league. He's a top 3 to 5 player in the NBA, and you can't argue it. LeBron's got a lot of hate. I had a lot of hate on him. I was one of the biggest LeBron haters you'll probably ever meet in my past self. And then once Kobe passed, I really started to appreciate LeBron's greatness, and I don't want to get into all that because that's just a different story. But I wouldn't call him one of my favorite players, even though I do own his jersey. But he's still one of the greatest players. He's top 3 greatest player ever. He is the best small forward going into next season. We'll see if he can maybe break a run going into the playoffs. We'll see what they do if they get Kyrie or not. It all depends. So that is pretty much it, man. That is my list of the top 10 small forwards going into next season. Again, if y'all have not had a chance, go check out my point guard and shooting guard ranking list. Leave your thoughts down in the comments. Did I get it right? Did I get it wrong? Let me know what you disagree with. Let me know what you would change. Leave a like on the video, and I will catch y'all next episode.